Hey there, Nico here with a quick follow-up video to my previous post entitled The Two Pathways to Modes. Here I've got my iPad out and we're just going to walk through, note by note, step by step, that perfect practice method that I defined in the previous video. If you haven't seen it, the link is going to be in the description and you can access the free PDF there that has all the formulae for the different modes. Alright, let's start off by naming all 7 modes, just so we can have them down at the bottom for reference. First mode, Ionian. Second mode, Dorian. Phrygian is third. Lydian is fourth. Mixolydian, Mixolydian is fifth. Aeolian is sixth. And Locrian is seventh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just so we can have it for reference. Okay, if you haven't gotten these memorized already, now's the time. I'm gonna fix that line there so it looks good. All right, first of all, we're gonna find a random mode with both pathways, and then we're gonna see what we could do afterwards to further our knowledge. Let's start with the relative pathway, because it's pathway number 1. And the random mode of the day is a Mixolydian. Mixo is my abbreviation for it. Okay, the relative pathway. The number one thing you need to think about with the relative pathway is a parent major scale. If we can find the parent major scale, if we can find the Ionian, basically, then we know exactly what the pitches and all the accidentals are. All right, we can find out the key signature. So, the first question you ask yourself is, what mode is Mixolydian? Guess what? We've answered that at the bottom. Mixolydian is mode number 5. Therefore, we need to find out what the parent of mode number 5 is by going back to mode number 1. If A is 5, then what is 1? And let's count together. A, G, F sharp, E, D. So, we know that D is the parent major of A Mixolydian. Therefore, we know that there's going to be an F sharp and a C sharp. And so let's write this out together. A, B, C sharp, right? Key signature says so. D, E, F sharp, and then G. So, we've arrived at A Mixolydian via the relative pathway, the parent scale. If you remember the metaphor from the video, it's going off of the sun, and it's changing our perspective of the solar system. Just like here, we're not changing the notes of D major, we are simply changing which note is the center of gravity, which is kind of our focal point, or the most important note. Okay? Parallel method. Now let's take parallel method in and see if any of our work holds water. Parallel method. The idea that we're talking here is alterations. We are altering an A major scale to look like A Mixolydian. Okay? A is going to stay consistent between all of these modes. We are only going to change accidentals. Okay? What's an A major scale is the first question you need to ask for the parallel method. So, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp. If you don't know this, this is error number 1. You kind of need to know your major modes before tackling this. I'm sorry, you need to know your major scales before tackling this subject. So I suggest you go back and get familiar with those if naming these scales is difficult for you. Okay? So, the next question that I ask is, how is Mixolydian different from Ionian? We look at that PDF and we see that Mixolydian has a flat 7. So therefore, I'm going to lower G sharp to G natural, 1/2 step down. Now here's where error number 5 comes in. Hopefully this clears up exactly what that means. If you notice, if I just slap a flat on that G, I'm going to end up with a G flat. And that makes no sense, because G flat is the same as F sharp. And with scales, you don't really have 2 of the same note. Don't just slap a flat, lower think lower from G sharp to G natural by 1/2 step. Okay? A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G natural, A. And so do we arrive at the same place as the relative pathway? Yes, we do. And that means that that really is a Mixolydian. Let me play some A Mixolydian for you. Fudge that A there, that B natural there. So this is D major right here. That would be kind of the relative way of getting there. I'm taking D major and I'm changing this center to here. Whereas if I'm going parallel, I'm going from A major and I'm lowering that G sharp to G natural. Improvise a little bit so you can hear it. AC/DC power chords there. So, we've arrived at A Mixolydian. Congratulations. We now know what it is from both the relative and the parallel pathways. Now, let's go out of that and continue our practicing and make it much more productive. Relative pathway leaving A Mixolydian. The question that I ask is, what are the other modes that are tied to the key signature of F sharp and C sharp? What are the other modes that are tied to D major is basically what I'm asking. And if you look at it, we've got A mixo, which we've already defined. Within those same notes, what if we've got G as the center? G would be the 4 or G Lydian. And so that would sound like... used in a lot of flying and floaty type of soundtracks. Very hopeful, a very hopeful mode. So G Lydian, F sharp Phrygian, E Dorian, D Ionian. I'm just filling in the modes based on the major scale here. B Aeolian, C sharp Locrian. Bam! I've arrived at all of the relative modes to A Mixolydian. And again, I'm not going to do this for every single mode because it's going to take a long time, and this is supposed to be a short and sweet video. But in your practice session, keep using D major to improvise or to compose, and just simply use a different drone or record something different on your looper that's going to convey a different note as the center. If you've been doing A Mixolydian, try B Aeolian. Put a B as the bass note, and then see how it sounds different. Listen to how the tension is different and how the resolution is different. All right, so we've done it. We've done relative moving out. Now let's do parallel going out. Parallel going out, all of the root notes are going to be A. We are going to alter all of these so that they form different modes. So we already know Mixolydian, right? A Mixolydian is A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G natural, A, right? We know A Ionian as well, just because that's how we got to A Mixolydian, is by modifying, there you go, by modifying it with the lowered 7. Now, what is Dorian? What is mode number 2? If I look at mode number 2, I see that, according to the PDF, Dorian has a flat 3 and a flat 7. So, C natural, not C flat, error number 5, C natural. D, E, F sharp, G natural, A for Dorian. Okay? And so we continue for the rest of them, and let's just plow through all of them. A Phrygian. Phrygian has a flat 2, a flat 3, a flat 6, and a flat 7. So, lowered 3, as we've seen with Dorian. I'm just going to copy Dorian really quick, okay? So we've already got the flat 3. I need a flat 2. I also need a flat 6, so I'm going to erase that right there. And so now we've got 1, flat 2, B flat, flat 3, C, 4 and 5 are the same, flat 6, not F sharp anymore, but F natural, not F flat, F natural, G, and then A. All right, Phrygian. What's Lydian? Lydian, according to that PDF, is a sharp 4. So A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. We've already done mixed Lydian, so let's move on to Aeolian. Aeolian is going to be a flat 3, a flat 6, and flat 7. No flat 2, right? Natural 2. So A, B, C natural, D, E, F, G, and A. And then finally, Locrian, the fun one. A, it needs a flat 2, a flat 3, a flat 5 actually. The only one that has a flat 5. Kind of where the diminished idea comes from. Flat 6, flat 7, and 1. Now, you see here that we've come up with many different moods from the same root. So here I would keep the drone the same and play the different modes. Let's go through it together. A, Ionian. I'll try to play a very similar lick for each one. A, Dorian. A, Phrygian. A, Lydian. A, mixed Lydian we've already done. Oh, C sharp. A, Aeolian. And finally, A, Locrian. Oh. All right, so you can see this is how I literally practice my modes. Another cool thing you could do is based on the key signatures, what are the parent scales of each mode that we found parallel? For example, obviously this one comes from A major. A, Dorian, has only an F sharp, which means what key signature has only F sharp? G major. Next, what key signature only has a B flat? One flat. It would be F. In this case, for Lydian, what key signature has has 4 sharps? 4 sharps would be the key of E. We've already discovered that mixed Lydian is based on D major. A, Aeolian, as you can see, no sharps or flats, is based off of C. And finally, A, Locrian, is based off of B flat because there's a B flat and an E flat. So there's an interesting pattern here where they kind of go down by pitch, which is a fascinating pattern that I'm noticing. Okay? So this is a very thorough way of going through modes. My recommendation to you is do the same exact thing. Maybe put like a weekly or a daily routine or something. And tomorrow name a different mode. For example, B flat Lydian, I don't know. And then do the same exact thing. Take a relative pathway in and a parallel pathway in. Test it, hear it, and then take the relative and the parallel pathways out. If you continue this as a practice routine, I think modes will be a lot easier for you and more intuitive for you. All right, well, that's the entire video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this was helpful to explain. I know the other video is it's a little bit denser. It's really hard to get modes in a very short amount of time. So I'm splitting up the demonstration here and more of the conceptual, slower explanations in the other video. So extra stuff for you. You're welcome. All right, signing out here. Take good care and happy practicing.